This is Moving Soulward, the podcast about growing a business at the intersection of strategy, spirituality, and self-care. We're your hosts, Katie McLaughlin, your Be Good guide, and
Maria Spiralis, the lunar lawyer. We love a good inspirational story, but we're not interested in just profits or bottom lines. Though don't get us wrong, those things are important.
in Moving Soulward, expect to hear conversations with entrepreneurs who are at all different stages of building a business, with two important things in common. Success means something different to each of them, and you don't have to sell your soul to get what you want.
Prioritizing stillness, systems, energies, and service are all valuable and necessary parts of mindful entrepreneurship. Now grab your favorite card deck, a warm mug, spark up a candle, and listen in.
This week on Moving Soulward, we have Rachael Weaver. She is your go-to messaging mentor who blends human design and conversation copywriting to help spiritual entrepreneurs create their soul-aligned message that attracts ideal clients, all without shouting into a black hole.
She's the creator of the Copy by Design method that uses your unique energy blueprint to guide your message and copy so that you always know what to say and when to say it. Rachael is a fierce advocate for women using their voice for change. Whether that change is in your own home or halfway across the world, every voice matters. Welcome back to Moving Soulward. We are here today with Rachael Weaver.
Hello. Hi, ladies.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing very good. It actually is warm here in Colorado, so I'm very happy.
Amazing.
It is warm in Tennessee as well.
Yeah, I love the little warm-ups in the middle of winter.
Well, Rachael, can you please give us a little description of what you do for the audience?
Yeah. Okay. So I blend human design and copywriting. And the reason I feel that we need more human design in our copy is because so many people preach this is one way to do messaging. There's only one way to do copy. And we're all human. We're so different. We're so multifaceted that one way isn't going to work for everyone, right? And a lot of the people out there talking about messaging talk about what works for them or what works for them, right? And that's the way to do it. And I am a firm believer that it has to align with you and your energy. It has to feel like you. It has to feel like an expression of you. And then mixing that with a little clarity around what it is you do and resonance in connecting to your ideal client. Those three is what really makes your message unique and magnetic and stand out from everyone else. So that's what I do, is help people uncover what that is for them, what their unique blueprint is, along with what the clarity is in what they do, and so that they can create that magnetic message.
I mean, this is so important around there's so much talk about, including myself, how 2025 is about this authenticity and how authenticity is going to be what people are measured on going forward,
Yeah.
which I think that we've always been measured on authenticity, but I think it's getting a little bit more front and center, especially like astrologically is supporting
Mhm.
that as well. So how do you help people connect? Obviously you're using the human design chart, but is there an element of that, like connecting with people's authenticity and having that shine through in the messaging? What is your sort of take on that?
Well, when I'm looking at the chart, I'm looking at basically three main elements along with a couple of other minor ones. But the main ones are your type, the way that your aura interacts with others. And then I'm looking at your throat and how that's configured, because that's where all the energy is going to. It's how we express ourselves. And then I'm looking at Mercury gate, because that's like the energy behind the energy you're coming with. And looking at those three elements, we can get a really good understanding of why probably your messaging isn't working, or it's not working the way you want to, and how to tweak it and how to fix it and align it so that it's like, and every time I tell someone like, this is what your messaging really needs to be around, they're like, oh, well, that's what I want to do, or that's what I want to talk about, but they're not giving themselves permission, right? They're falling prey to the conditioning and what everyone says you should talk about instead of what you truly want to talk about. So yeah, I mean, there's other things that we go into if you want to dive deeper, but those are the three main ones.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense because there's so much noise. I mean, I don't know if this is just my algorithm or if everyone's seeing the volume of like, use these 10 negative hooks and 10x your sales. And it's like it feels like very
Mhm.
shouting and it feels like
Mhm.
very, okay, well, I don't want to have this like saved posts of 9 million hooks that I'm never going to use because they don't feel like me, but I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
people, especially in this space, who are like one of their big barriers is like, how do I show up on social media? How I show up and sell? How does that come from an authentic place when, really they'd rather be like connecting one on one, going in depth with a client, or that's not necessarily what they want to be doing. So, can you give an
Mhm.
example maybe of how you've helped someone like work through a block like that, or if there's a story you
Yeah.
have around that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I actually just did a single session with a client this week, and she came to me feeling really frustrated with the pain point marketing. She couldn't figure out what the problem she solves with. And it made sense. She's a bit of an artist. Her work is very unique. It's art based, but it's intuition, but it's also an element of coaching. Very, very unique, right? And doesn't really fall into any of the categories that we think of messaging and problems that you solve and solutions you give. And really had to look at the whole picture in order to understand why she was getting tripped up and then what to do about it. So her chart, she has the 4323 channel. She's a generator, which is unique in itself, a generator with that channel. And that channel is all about unique perspective. It's talking outside of the box. It's doing things differently. So I was like, number one, throw the box out. Like that, you're not designed to be in any box, hands down. And then understanding how she wanted to structure her business too. She's a 2-4. So she wants to hermit, but yet she comes out with these energetic bursts, which is also the 4323 channel in a lot of ways. So understanding, okay, so we don't want to show up all the time consistently, just feels stifling and not possible. An undefined will. She's not going to make herself do it either. And so, how can we create offers that then feel good to her, that can run on their own without having to show up all the time? And basically created like an art-based product, human design aspect. She wants that part of it in there, along with spirit animals and creating art in a way that is super unique. What is your spirit animal? What was it? So each type has different spirit animals connected
Mhm.
with it, and she would create art. Like her art is unbelievable. She doesn't even consider herself an artist, but yet her art made me go, this is so magical, so playful, so like nothing I've ever seen before. And when we tie that to what your human design type is, I want to know what my spirit animal is based on my human design, and creating an offer that can be basically set on autopilot. Like she doesn't have to do anything, it just runs for her.
Yeah.
Felt so much better than trying to show up and sell sessions all the time, right?
Mhm.
So it was, yeah, it's coming back to who you are, how are you designed, and then looking at your business holistically and understanding your goals are, what you want, how you like to work, and then what is your energy telling us about how we can show up in a more authentic way. Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds so powerful. I mean, I feel that just like the pace of everything with messaging has gotten so rapid. I'm a manifester, so like this world was not meant for me. Like
Nope.
I do not want to be showing up every day having to respond or create trends. Like I'm like I want to say stuff when I want to say stuff and I don't when I don't. And so I can see how, but it's interesting how someone who's a generator who is more built to have that sustainable energy source, how they can still have pieces in their chart that, to me, that would be more of a manifestor signature, right? Of wanting to show up with a
Mhm.
creative urge. So I think there's some really good, like that gave me a really good picture of like how you work with people specifically and how things go a little bit deeper than just I'm a manifester, so I like should shout from the rooftops whenever I feel like it. Like if that feels I'm like, cool, but what do I shout about? Like you go deeper into the person, it sounds like.
Exactly. Like your type can tell us things, but again, like in this case, if I had just told that generator that you just show up and you master your thing, she would have been like, no, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't make any sense to me. Right. But if we look at those deeper elements and understand what those are saying, those really give us a clearer picture of what she's here to talk about and how she's here to talk about it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
amazing. Okay, so this gives me a good idea of like how you work with clients, what your business is all about. But we're gonna jump into some lightning round questions to get to know Rachael Weaver, the human. And
Ooh.
so just answer with the first thing that comes to mind, and we'll
Okay.
run through these. So are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Really quickly, I wanted to hop in here and tell you something that you probably already know if you're listening to this podcast, but just in case you don't, Katie and I are hosting the first annual Soulward Summit conference. This is a business conference for mindful leaders, for mindful achievers, for business owners who know that they should listen to their intuition, who know they shouldn't get stuck in hustle culture mode, but sometimes they do, and you want to really incorporate your intrinsic gifts, your own authenticity into your business and your brand and take it to the next iteration of your dream. And so if you're interested, head to soulwardsummit.com and you'll get all of the details there on tickets and ticket options. We hope to see you there.
We'll start with an easy layup. What's your favorite warm beverage?
Oh, coffee. A triple shot of espresso with equal parts steamed milk, please.
Mm. Lots of
Mhm.
caffeine and love a sea milk.
Yeah.
Okay, recommendation
Oh, yeah.
of something you recently watched, read, or listened to.
Oh, my husband and I are watching Madam Secretary right now, and I'm fully invested in this storyline. Love it.
Okay, have not watched that at all. Adding to queue. What's
Mhm.
your current favorite self-care or spiritual hygiene ritual?
Oh, sauna at the moment, because it's cold here, and when I can go and sweat, oh, so good.
The
Yeah.
more every time I go to a sauna, I'm like, can I fit one in my house somewhere? And the answer is no, but like I think about it every time.
Oh, we have plans. Like, I was even trying to figure out how we can get our HSA account to pay for the sauna because it's healthcare.
Okay, love
That's
that.
brilliant.
I will be looking into that as
Uh-huh.
well. But what's one thing that you do to connect with potential clients?
Writing. It's just writing or YouTube, but like creating something that I know someone needs to hear, writing it or using YouTube and just putting it out there to connect and allowing the universe to kind of like put it in front of the people that need to hear it.
And I imagine being a messaging queen that you use your own human design to your advantage on those things.
Yep.
What's one thing you wish you knew before you started this business?
Oh gosh. That it can take time and that your conditioning plays the biggest role. And if you look at your conditioning, almost always, if you're trying to reach a goal and you're not getting there, it's your conditioning holding you in the place that you're at and not allowing you to reach it. So if I had looked at that in the beginning, holy, I would have been so much further than I am right now. We are where we are. We are where we are, and it's all perfect timing. But yeah, your conditioning plays a bigger role than we give it credit.
Oh my God, yes. Double click on that. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Don't be so hard on yourself. I'm really self-critical, and my best friend is always telling me, like, don't be so hard on yourself. God, like lighten up a little. Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself.
Oh, love
That
that.
saying of like, you would never talk to your best friend the way that you talk to
Yep.
yourself. And it's like, ooh.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And she's always reminding me of that. And I'm like, right. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I always insert myself in those scenarios. I'm like, would you what would you say to me if I was saying that to you? And they're like, oh, I would not say that. I'm like, well, exactly.
Oh, not. I would be
The shock and
encouraging,
horror when
everything's okay.
when you
Yeah.
like put that outside of yourself and you're like, oh, damn, that was bad.
Yep.
Well, that's it for the lightning round. Thank you so much. I feel like we know you a little bit better now.
Awesome.
Rachel, what came first, human design or copywriting?
Copywriting came, well, they were very close, but I think copywriting came slightly before human design, maybe, or before I really dove into human design. They were about the same time though.
So what was the process like to integrate those?
Well, I started copywriting and taking courses and really learning what are the best practices and all these things, and kind of hated all of it, really. But I loved the writing of it and the helping people communicate what you do. But the way that it was like supposed to be felt really like this sucks and is boring and doesn't feel like me. And I know it doesn't feel like my clients. And with studying human design, it's really funny. I can look at a chart and it makes sense to me. It's a language I totally speak. Looking at an astrology chart, I was like, how do you read this? I don't understand. It looks like just a bunch of lines in a circle. So, but looking at human design, I was like, oh, well, if the energy is moving this way and this channel is saying this, I bet you're supposed to talk about that. You're supposed to use that in your messaging. And it just kind of made sense to me. And the more I explored with it with clients and doing chart readings and things like that in the beginning, it just really solidified the whole process that, this is something that people need to do.
I worked with a copywriter once and it was very like, ooh, like word tricks and like sales tricks.
Yep.
And I almost felt like this is what people think about. This is what people think about when they think about lawyers, like tricky words and like trying to entrap people with words. So that is so different from the human designer.
Oh, it's so different. And I feel like they would use a lot of the best writing would be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of bold and snarky, maybe a little bit, or just not what you would normally say, right? It's not written in the way that you want to say it. And you're right, it's using tricks, it's using persuasion tactics, and all to get people to go, oh, yeah, I do need this. And in the way that I think most spiritual entrepreneurs want to work is they just want to share what they do. They know that people need it. And then when they share it, then the people that need it will find it. There's no convincing there. It's just, I'm showing up going, this is what I do. Do you want it? If you don't, cool, that's fine. There's plenty of people that do.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
So did you do any
spiritual entrepreneurs who are like operating from a place of service already, right? So like they're like, how can I be in service to more people? They're in service, not in sales. So if they can extend that service, then that feels comfortable or like authentic to them. But dipping into the sales side of it, it's like, no, like I know that the universe will connect me with who I'm supposed to be connected with. There's more trust there, I think, so that it feels like less of a hard sell and more of like you're just trying to create magnetism, which feels very different than any copywriting 101 like would touch upon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. What bonuses are you giving? And what is your scarcity? And
scarcity? Yes. Did you do any kind of human design certification or training programs or anything like that?
I didn't. I am a 4/6 Manny Gen. I frown upon certifications. No, I don't frown, but I don't feel the need for it for myself as long as I feel like I know the information. I have studied a ton of human design. I have taken a few different courses, but I just never got quote unquote certified. I think the certification and anything, I also was a photographer before this, and I never went to school for photography. I took darkroom classes and things like that, but I never went to school for it. And I feel like school, or in that kind of context, sometimes takes the curiosity out of things and you box yourself into doing it a certain way and not following your own intuition with it. And even with copywriting, I felt like it was boxing me in. I never got a certification with copywriting either, because I was like, I don't want to do it this way. Why would I get certified? And instead following my own intuition on how I want to do it, because that's really what we're all here to do. Is there's no one right way to do it. We're here to do it our own way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like we could probably do like a whole chat on like signatures in your human design chart versus your astrology chart on like whether
Yeah.
you're into certifications or not. Cause I feel like there's a spectrum there of people who are like, I need to
Oh, for sure.
have the wall of certifications to prove that I have authority in something. I'm similar
Yes.
Yep.
to you, Rachel, where I've taken courses. I have a whole library of astrology books. I'm a
Yep.
5/1 manifester, so, like, I go very deep, and I never feel like I know
Yeah.
enough about the world in general, so I'm always learning, but putting that then together and saying, "I have this knowledge base, I have this authority," I don't feel the need for a sort of someone else to tell
Mhm.
me that I have that. I know when I'm ready to, like, teach or
Mhm.
inform about it, so I think there's an interesting thing there maybe with, like, how people feel about certifications in their charts. Could
Oh,
be
for sure. Yeah. I
One
think
three, and I feel like I have to have done all of it in order to be good enough to continue.
I was gonna say the 1-5, I feel like that balances out the 1 in needing the certification, because the 5 is very intuitive and like
Mhm.
they know something, where the third line, I meet a lot of 1-3s that are like, I need the certification. Like, no, you don't. It's okay. I know that you want lots of life experience, but know that you already know 10 times as much as other people in certain subjects. Yeah.
Totally. So at what point did this sort of like interest or rabbit holing on human design become like a core part of your business? And then like what talk to us about that journey of this is cool versus this is my path, this is my purpose.
Mm. Well, about a year and a half in, I hired a coach, a manifester, and she was like, "Why are you not blending these two together?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I already kind of am, and I should be more outwardly about it." So that was kind of the click of being talking more about human design on the front instead of just in the background. But I think purpose wise, I really struggled with understanding what I was actually here offer wise. I was actually here to help people with. I floundered between, am I a copywriter? Do I coach people? Is it programs and digital product? Like I was so lost in all of the different ways to package myself and to what to call myself, all of that. I floundered in that for 2 years trying to figure it out until I finally just fucking trusted myself and went all in on a low ticket $37 offer that completely changed my business and is the whole reason I feel like I'm here today. So, again, back to that whole conditioning aspect and really trusting yourself and not getting caught up in your own limitations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, that feels like I love that manifestor initiated you, but you were in that Manny
Yeah.
Gen. I've got all the options. I could do all the things. Like, where do I go? That
Yeah.
analysis paralysis,
Yep.
which I also
Yep. It
feel
was
like
like,
is
I could
very
do all of
common.
it.
Very common in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
business.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So now that you've got that $37 offer, so where do you see this sort of going, like building on that? Where do you see your business going with this?
Well, I love digital products now. Like it started out as just something to help me build my audience, and it's turned into something so much bigger than that. And so now I'm creating another offer funnel that is a lower ticket. I do want, like, I've dabbled in high ticket, charging a ton of money, and it just doesn't, I don't love it. I don't, it's fine to work with one-on-one. I love working one-on-one. But I didn't like the high ticket aspect of the whole coaching industry of paying, $10,000, $20,000 to work with someone or more. God, I've seen people spend so much money, and I just don't think it's necessary. If you want to do it, that's fine. But the lower ticket, really helping people understand or implement something in their business for a not a ton of money. I make plenty of money. Like it's not, it's about more, I think, helping people and making that impact than say I can charge 20K for my time. I don't care to say that, I guess. And in terms of going where I'm going, I am now also incorporating AI into the business. Good old Manny Jen. It's not just human design. It's not just copy. We're bringing in AI too. And I said that AI kind of feels like the defined ajna that I've always wanted, because it brings all these different pieces and all these different thoughts that I have and puts them into a cohesive like thought or post or whatever it is, and especially when you train it. So I'm creating a group offer that will blend all of those together in a really simple, like 8 weeks. Here's what we're doing. We're going for it, clarifying it all. And that's going to become my signature program, group program, but still keeping it in that still tangible, or I guess it's mid-ticket or mid-ticket price.
That's awesome. Yeah. I feel like I mean, ChatGPT is my like VA assistant that I ramble things to, and then it repeats back to me what I like couldn't have said as eloquently.
Yeah, exactly.
Big AI
Exactly.
fan. So choosing this soulpreneur path is not necessarily an easy one, as we can all attest. What's your biggest challenge been in building your business this year?
Trying to keep my time, the amount of time that I want to work, to that amount of time, and not getting sucked back in other times of the day, but leaving work, leaving my office and going and being with my kids or my husband. And we homeschool too. So I have to balance both, and really understanding that I'm only working this amount of hours and getting everything I want to get done in that amount of time. And sometimes that means that projects take a little bit longer, but ultimately keeping 15 hours. That's it. 15 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I think
strongly relate to this.
I think we were talking about
Oh,
this on another episode that we recorded, but when you're like doing the things that really light you up, and you're also then the operator of your own business, like there is a never ending to-do list, but there's a lot of things usually that you're like really excited about. And so I can definitely get tunnel vision and be like, oh, I'm so excited to do this. Like, let me go in a hole and create this thing because I'm following a creative urge. And then I'm like, I
yeah.
haven't seen another human in 3 days. Like, this is a problem. So I think there can be a like passion driven workaholic version that we need to, address and reconcile. I don't know if you're feeling like that
Oh,
sort of drive, like that you want to keep working on stuff because it lights you up.
absolutely. Yeah. When my time is up and I'm like, crap, I have to go. Oh, I'm running late. I'm not done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally feel that.
Is there a common thread or challenge that you're seeing in in your clients or in the collective right now? Whether it's, defined throat, undefined throat, whatever it is.
I would say everyone's having a really hard time defining what they do. There's been so much plastered at them. It's like a fire hose of information that they're like, I don't even know how to say anything anymore. I'm so confused. I'm so done with all of it. And yet, when I show up as myself, it's not doing anything, right? I hear that a lot too. I'm like, I tried to throw it all away and just show up as myself, but no one's engaging. People still aren't buying. So what gives? And so it's finding that balance between, there is some clarity that needs to happen along with the authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think maybe the first 5 episodes of this podcast we recorded, people came in and it was like, I'm a yoga instructor, but also a coach, but also a practitioner. It's like we have a lot of slashies. And so
Yep.
that makes it harder to define yourself too.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have multiple passions or multiple things, you're like, I don't know what I could do this for you, or I could do this for you. And I get that so much. It really confuses people, and it makes them go, well, can you help me with this? Or maybe I'll just go find somebody that is sure on what they do. Right. And there is room for having multiple passions. I'm not saying that there's not, and you have to niche. I'm not saying that at all, but just finding more clarity around what it is that you want to do. I think that a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs think that they have to do something a certain way, or they have to package things a certain way because, again, that's what sells, and that's not ultimately what they want to do. So I work a lot with finding, okay, what do you actually want to do, and how can we talk about it in a way that feels good for you, but it's also really clear for your people.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, I feel like I've definitely struggled with that as the multi-hyphenate I am. So I feel like that's going to resonate with a lot of people listening to this. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is you are hosting a workshop on using human design to create a magnetic message at Soulward Summit in a
Yep.
month from now, to the day exactly, as we're recording this. And so can you tell us a little bit more about what that will look like, what you're excited for people to experience in the workshop? Give us like a what that'll feel like.
So with magnetic messaging, there's 3 pillars. There's the energy piece of it, that's your human design. There's the clarity piece, that's what you do, and the resonance, that's your person that you're talking to. So we're going to go through each of those pieces. So starting with energy, looking at your human design type. We won't have time to go deeper than that, but I do have a little thing I can give people that if they want to go deeper, they can. And then the clarity piece, we're going to work on what is it you do? What do you do? And finding a little bit more clarity in that sentence, right? What do you do? Right? And the resonance piece.
So it
That
doesn't
resonance
become the
piece.
run-on sentence of here's all the things I've ever done in my life.
It doesn't come the run-on sentence, the novel, the TED Talk, all the things. It's a clear, like, this is what I do. And then the resonance piece of who are you talking to? Have you defined who you really want to speak to? Most people haven't done that. They're like, I talk to people that are in transition. I'm like, transition of what? Or what does that even mean? Or I talk to people that are tired of their life and want to live the life that live their dream life or whatever. I'm like, okay, but still, like, that means nothing to people. In order to have that resonance and have people feel seen and heard, we have to actually understand where they are. What are they dealing with? What are the things that they don't want to put up with anymore? And it's not saying we're pigeonholing ourselves into one person or one niche. It's just understanding this offer is for this person. And that really helps clarify that it's not you're stuck with this offer, you're stuck with this person. It's just this offer is for this person. Yeah. So it'll be
Love
fun.
that. I can't wait to sit in on that.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I have Rachel's, this might have been the $37 thing you were talking about, which is basically my chart with like the messaging attached to it. And it's so good. It's so much more than just your energy type, right? It's your defined and undefined energy centers and just
the report. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well,
So
tell the listeners where to find more of you and more of what you do. And if there's anything you have going on right now that you want people to know.
Oh, all right. So Instagram, I am Rachael Weaver, and Rachael is with an extra A, Rachael. And my website is weaverco.us. And those are the 2 main places I would say to come find me. And I actually don't have anything right now. I am doing the beta course for the new signature offer right now. So I'm deep in creation mode with those people that are in that group. And probably the end of March, early April is when I'll launch the new program. But the custom report is always available. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rachel. This is so fun.
Thanks, guys. So good to see you. I'm excited to meet in person.
We hope you loved that conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review this episode. We appreciate it so much, and we will see you next time.